I think all of us here today at ASU GSV can agree that educational disparity is a definite contributor to societal ills, and that effective education could be a great equalizer if done broadly and at scale, starting with our youngest learners. I founded Age of Learning 10 years ago for these reasons, to provide a strong foundation for future academic success for all children. I've been asked to provide a bit of a backstory on myself and what led me to found Age of Learning and ABCmouse.com. My background is in consumer research. I started my first company more than 3 decades ago. Yes, 3 decades ago. When I founded a market research company that grew to be a top 100 research firm in the United States. In 1998, we registered opinionsurveys.com, which grew to become a multi-million member online research panel that we ultimately sold to a NASDAQ-listed public company. Through opinionsurveys.com, I came to appreciate the tremendous potential of the internet to rapidly engage with people at scale. Less than 2 years later, in early 2000, I founded my next venture, Neopets. Neopets was founded as a safe haven for kids online at a time when the internet was a scary place for most parents whose kids were using it. Neopets was a vibrant community which quickly became one of the world's most popular websites for kids, and with content being developed and synced live daily in 11 languages around the world. Having registered 140 million accounts in 5 years, we were serving more than 8 billion page views each and every month. In fact, Neopets had the most page views per user and time spent per user in the US, making it one of the most stickiest websites in the world. My experience growing and building Neopets prompted me to seriously think about how to use the scale of the internet to engage children for the purpose of education and have a broad, positive societal impact. I was confident that we could create an online experience that was both engaging and educationally effective. With this revelation, I decided to sell Neopets to start Age of Learning and develop our first product, ABCmouse.com. We sold Neopets to Viacom, and I founded Age of Learning in 2007 with the simple mission: to help children everywhere build a strong foundation for future academic success. Very early on, we assembled a curriculum board of educators and experts in language development, child development, and early learning best practices. Our pedagogical approach to the development of our curriculum is based on a simple but powerful premise. We call it the architecture of understanding. I'll briefly walk you through a basic visual explanation of this. Understanding builds over time as you make connections between things you already understand and the new things you are learning. So if you start out with one thing that you know, like this, over time you connect it to other things, so that you wind up with a collection of things that you understand that are connected to one another. Now, if all of this is solid, you can progress confidently along the path of study, learning new things and progressing smoothly through your education. But what happens if something is missing? You just didn't get it, or maybe you thought you understood it, but you didn't. Or maybe it wasn't taught for some reason, it was skipped entirely. If that happens, you won't be able to fully understand other things that depend on that missing or incomplete piece of knowledge. And that means that at some point, you're going to run into trouble. What usually happens is that a teacher finds a way to patch up some of what you missed so you can keep going. But since the basic cause was not remedied, you'll run into trouble again later on. After too much patching, eventually, you get to a place where the patching doesn't work anymore. This is a very common experience for children. I think it's safe to say that we've all experienced this to one degree or another in some aspect of our own education. You can see that this experience is common when you look at the nation's report card, which shows the results of a nationwide test that's taken every 4 years by 4th graders, 8th graders, and 12th graders. Here are the most recent results for 4th graders nationally. What this shows is that 60% of 4th grade students are not proficient in mathematics, and 64% of 4th graders are not proficient readers. That means that the majority of our 9-year-olds are already behind, and many are way behind. If we're serious about educating children, we must find a way to solve this problem. Our ultimate goal at Age of Learning is to provide a framework that rapidly takes a child from this, to this, to this, to this, allowing each child to continue their education with a strong, solid foundation for future success in school and in life. We believe engagement is critical to learning. For this reason, we assembled a world-class content, creative, and instructional design team. We spent nearly 4 years developing a highly engaging, comprehensive online curriculum before launching ABCmouse at the end of 2010, initially with more than 2,000 learning activities for preschool, pre-K, and kindergarten. We have now expanded ABCmouse to include over 8,500 standards-aligned activities with more than 850 lessons from preschool through second grade, comprising 10 levels. The curriculum encompasses reading and language arts, math, science, social studies, health, art, and music. We're often asked why we called it ABCmouse. The simplicity was learning ABCs with your computer mouse. Of course, ABCmouse is now fully available on mobile devices in addition to desktop computers. In fact, for several years now, ABCmouse has regularly been the top grossing app on both tablets and smartphones in both the kids and education categories. ABCmouse offers 4 modes of learning. When parents onboard their children, those students can be placed on one of the 10 levels of the step-by-step learning path, allowing them to progress through a structured curriculum of lessons. There are 2 levels each for preschool, pre-K, kindergarten, first and second grades. As children progress through the curriculum of these levels, they are introduced to the many different environments of Earth, each offering rich opportunities to learn about the interrelations of plants, animals, and climate that characterize our planet's ecosystems. Here are just a few: the frozen lake in the pine tree forest environment, the coral reef environment, rocky desert environment. Students enjoy traveling through these environments while doing their lessons. The second mode is independent learning. Students can take a field trip to the farm or zoo or spend time in the library or playing curriculum-based games and other activities of their choosing. The third mode is parent or teacher-guided learning. This allows parents and teachers to create and assign lessons for students using our lesson builder tool. The final mode is assessment-guided learning. Working with SRI and NORC, affiliated with the University of Chicago, we've developed a series of formative and progress monitoring assessments for literacy and math covering preschool through second grade. With hundreds of assessments, thousands of unique validated items, and 3 equated forms per grade level, the ABCmouse Assessment Center assigns custom lessons targeted to individual student needs. Having these 4 modes of learning allows parents, teachers, and students to customize their experience, leading to very positive engagement and retention. Since launching ABCmouse, more than 10 million children have engaged with our educational content, and that's not just superficial engagement. These 10 million kids have completed more than 2.5 billion learning activities, a milestone we just recently surpassed. That's an average in excess of 200 learning activities per child. You can see our learning activity counter on the homepage of ageoflearning.com in real time. These aren't simply numbers on a screen. This is a real-time counter showing books being read, puzzles being solved, and other ABCmouse learning activities being completed by kids right this moment across the United States and around the world. The total represents a contribution towards building that strong academic foundation across society. I thought you might like to hear from some of the children these numbers represent. These are not actors, and what you'll hear was not scripted in any way, simply kids speaking to their own experiences using ABCmouse.
ABCmouse.com is so fun. There's a ton of things to do. I go for games. Reading, math, songs, science, puzzles, painting. They never run out of things. They just make new stuff. A fun game is the shirt game. Magic Rainbow Traceables. My favorite is Dinosaur Chop. There's one more thing that's super duper fun. You can do the learning path. It's where there's activities, puzzles, books, and games. And when you're on your learning path, if you finish, you get to get 20 tickets. Tickets! You play games to get them. It's not hard to figure out. It's easy, very, very easy. I think all kids should use ABCmouse. All kids. It helps me learn the stuff I need to do for school. With ABCmouse, learning is fun. 100% fun.
We make ABCmouse available to families on a subscription basis. The objective is to provide parents with a highly effective and affordable supplemental educational resource. The subscription cost is the same today as it was when we launched 7 years ago, $7.95 per month per family, which allows parents to enroll up to 3 children with no additional cost. All of this has made ABCmouse the leading digital learning resource for young kids in the United States. Our U.S. consumer business provides a sustainable, profitable, long-term business model that allows us to make major investments in new ways to deliver on our educational mission. For example, in addition to our home subscription offering, our education access initiatives provide ABCmouse at no cost to teachers and community institutions, such as libraries, Head Start programs, public housing authorities, and after-school programs. More than 65,000 teachers use ABCmouse in their classrooms, translating to 1.5 million students using ABCmouse in schools throughout the country each and every month at no cost. I thought it might be helpful to hear directly from teachers who have used ABCmouse in their classrooms. Again, these are their own words, completely unscripted.
I've been teaching for 13 years.
This is my 17th year.
Taught kindergarten for over 20 years.
I have been teaching for 18 years.
I have never seen a program like abcmouse.com.
I've always had to use 20 websites, and now I can just use one.
ABC Mouse has everything. It encompasses science, math, reading, social studies.
It's just endless what they can learn on abcmouse.com.
On ABC Mouse, my children are learning to read. They're doing math problems, social studies, science, everything.
Our test scores have gone up tremendously with ABC Mouse.
Since we've begun ABC Mouse, our scores are just amazing.
It showed in my scores at the end of the year. This class was very high, and the only thing different that I used this year was ABC Mouse.
But the best thing about abcmouse.com is that they're having fun, and that's the beauty of it. It helps kids love to learn.
Responding to demand from schools and districts with teachers like these getting tremendous classroom results, we launched ABCmouse for Schools last year. We now offer school and district-wide use of ABCmouse, along with curriculum alignment, reporting, assessment, professional development, and instructional support. The purpose is to help schools accomplish their kindergarten readiness goals for all of their students, and then support those students all the way to third grade readiness. Although we're just getting started with this initiative, we're already working with dozens of schools and districts across the country. No partnership better represents our commitment to expanding access than our ABCmouse for Libraries initiative, which since 2014 has enabled any child to access ABCmouse completely free in public libraries across the country. More than 6,500 U.S. public libraries currently make ABCmouse available for children to use in the library. And last year, those children logged into the ABCmouse in public libraries over 1 million times and at no cost. The feedback we regularly receive from librarians and parents let us know loud and clear that this initiative is helping in a meaningful way. Here are some brief, unscripted comments from librarians and parents.
I've been working at Cumberland County Public Library System for 22 years.
I am the library manager here at the Yuba County Library, and I've been working here 10 years.
I worked here for 16 years.
California has seen so many budget cuts for libraries. We didn't really have a resource for kids that age.
I was involved in the process of getting ABCmouse to this library. I looked at it and I noticed it was very geared towards learning.
Colors, numbers, letters, shapes, literacy and reading, it covers all of it.
Children just flocked to it and started using it almost immediately. In one day, we have more ABCmouse usage than we do for the iPads that we have the whole entire month, because ABCmouse is that popular.
There are some families who come in here and you just know that this is special to them. You can see such a transformation. You just watch and you see someone blossom.
I get to see her sound out words and the smile on her face when it clicks. She's done really well, and it's really put her above and beyond ahead of her peers.
I was trying to find ways to increase her reading. That's when I started coming to the library more, and then all of a sudden she started reading. I'm shocked, because like a couple weeks ago you couldn't even read. Her teacher called me one day and was like, you know, she's doing great. I don't know what you've been doing at home, but you keep doing it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna keep going to the library and keep using ABCmouse.
I've had those same parents that came to me with such concern go, oh my gosh, my kid is excelling, they're doing great. Their teacher can't believe how well they're doing.
This is why the library is here, to help the ones that don't have what most do have. And ABCmouse, it's a whole world. Every kid has a light. And with ABCmouse, that light burns brighter and brighter.
As we work to expand access to ABCmouse, we're also committed to evaluating and improving the efficacy of our curriculum. We regularly support research by early learning experts to evaluate the effectiveness of ABCmouse in a variety of use cases. Here are some of our research partners. Researchers have completed several large-scale studies on ABCmouse, including multiple randomized control trials. As you can see, we've completed a total of 14 studies with more than 5,000 teachers in classrooms and more than 10,000 children. This growing body of research shows that ABCmouse accelerates learning and helps children make significant gains in early literacy and math skills. Let me briefly walk you through some highlights. For context, in 2012, the Department of Education's Institute of Education Sciences published a meta-analysis led by Vanderbilt University researchers of more than 100 randomized studies of educational interventions. This analysis found that the average effect size of interventions at the elementary school level on broad tests of reading and math was just 0.08. This means that on average, educational interventions only move the needle on student outcomes by 8/100ths of a standard deviation compared to the status quo. That's the equivalent of a few weeks of additional academic instruction. In comparison, here are the results of several research studies on ABCmouse. 25% greater gains for students on the widely used DIBELS assessment compared to those not using ABCmouse in a Southern California kindergarten study. ABCmouse usage helped prevent and reverse the summer slide in a University of Miami study, leading to a month's worth of gains over the summer compared to students not using ABCmouse. A longitudinal study in Tupelo, Mississippi public schools recently published in the peer-reviewed Journal of Applied Research on Children, finding that the more ABCmouse usage over multiple years, the higher that student's score on the DIBELS, STAR, and ClassWorks reading assessments by the conclusion of the study. As you can see, the research shows that ABCmouse is working. For those interested in more details, I encourage you to go to ageoflearning.com, where you will find a research section. I'd like to cover a couple of additional Age of Learning initiatives, including our international expansion. The first is our English Learning Initiative, which we launched in China with a new product called ABCmouse English Learning Academy, an international classroom setting with American teacher Ms. Jones and her students. ABCmouse English Learning Academy teaches English in a natural way, beginning with listening and speaking activities that help children develop vocabulary and conversational skills. The 6 levels of our ELL curriculum teach more than 1,000 words and phrases, along with grammar, communication, reading, and writing skills in a structured English immersive environment through instructional animations and other learning activities. Our ABCmouse ELL curriculum is used in classrooms and homes in China, and we're regularly the #1 grossing kids app in the China Apple App Store. We will be expanding this program into Japan and Korea later this year. So I'd like to end today by talking about the future. At Age of Learning, we have a never-ending desire to improve learning outcomes for children because as effective as we are in helping kids learn now, we know we can do much better. And not only better, but faster. How do we help close learning gaps more quickly for kids and put them on the optimal learning path, a personalized learning path for each and every student? The core of our approach is the idea that students should fully master each concept before moving on, as described earlier in our architecture of understanding. As we all know, this isn't the way most children are taught. Traditionally, it's been teach them as much as possible during the school year and send them on to the next grade. There hasn't been a way to deliver a personalized curriculum for every student so that student can master each step of that student can master each step at his or her own pace before moving on, particularly for our youngest learners. Mastery is all about ensuring that every child has a solid foundation as they progress through their studies. Our personalized mastery learning system begins with very detailed knowledge maps for each academic subject, developed through years of research by our curriculum team. Here's a snapshot of just one of our knowledge maps for math, numbers, and operations from pre-K through second grade. Don't worry, I don't expect you to be able to read this at all. Based on each knowledge map, we thoroughly develop adaptive learning activities designed to teach, assess, and provide practice for specific learning objectives. Using data from a student's interaction, the system adapts within each activity and even the sequence of activities to optimize the student's learning experience. And as the millions of students using ABCmouse interact with this adaptive system, our knowledge maps and adaptive engine will significantly improve based on the data, enabling us to deliver better and better learning outcomes over time. The first app in our personalized mastery learning system is called Mastering Math, which begins with the most basic nodes on this knowledge map for very young children. We will be significantly expanding Mastering Math in the months ahead, adapting the content and curriculum for older kids along the way. Mastering Math is actually one of a series of constellation apps around our ABCmouse core app, Early Learning Academy. These constellation apps offer downloadable ABCmouse content accessible offline and are grouped by subject area and activity type, all included as part of our $7.95 per month subscription fee per family. We've certainly made a lot of progress over the past 10 years, but we always feel like we're just getting started. Our 600-person team is hard at work improving the effectiveness of our curriculum for the younger students we're serving now, in addition to expanding our offerings to engage and educate children in the upper elementary grades and beyond. At Age of Learning, our purpose is to significantly increase learning outcomes at scale, providing children with a strong foundation for future academic success. I know many of you are here today because you share this passion. I look forward to connecting with many of you, partnering with some of you to continue to make the future of education bright. So on that note, I'd like to leave you with one final message.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Okay, thank you very much.